State folks, Michael.
Yeah, we do, Jay. You know, if you ask any college football coach, they're going to tell you that the drive for a championship in the fall begins in the spring. Ohio State will hold its spring game today, 1:30 Eastern in Columbus. The Buckeyes' lone loss last year to Michigan State kept them out of the playoff. And your reigning national champion, Alabama, also on the field today, 3 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. The Tide have claimed 4 of the last 7 college football national championships. So with so many spring games on the docket, that means we got to bring in our college football analyst, Trevor Matich, and we start with those Buckeyes. They return an FBS low 6 starters on offense, defense combined. Ezekiel Elliott, as we just mentioned, going on to the NFL draft. So if you're that coaching staff on the offensive side of the ball, who are you going to find to replace Elliott?
Michael, there's a committee right now trying to replace him, but it's really not what they do with the ball that might matter the most. They're all good runners. Yeah. It's what they do without the ball in their hands. Now, I sat with Mike Alford, the running back coach and assistant head coach, in the running backs meeting room, and he showed me some of the things without the ball that he requires of their players. Now, let's go back to last year. This is Ezekiel Elliott, and he carried on that culture of great blocking by running backs. That will be required of these guys. Let's go to practice tape from just a few days ago. This is one of the guys vying for it, Briante Dunn. He'll actually stick his face into the chest of a defensive tackle in practice to show what he's got going on. One of the young guys, Mike Weber, number 20, redshirt freshman, last year sat in the meeting room and watched Ezekiel Elliott block with devastating effectiveness. He picked up the need for it. He's doing a great job, but even the youngest of players vying for that spot, Antonio Williams, a true freshman, early enrollee, number 3. Never did this in high school, and early in camp, he was crushed. But look how much he's improved. I mean, run that back. Let's see that again. That's a guy that should be at his high school prom right now who's never done this before. The reason that's important, according to Tony Alford, is that the most unselfish act a running back can do is to block for his teammates. And he wants to see a complete running back get most of the snaps in place of Ezekiel Elliott, because that's what Elliott did.
The play reminded me of Walter Payton coming down and taking down those defensive linemen back in his Hall of Fame career. By the way, Ohio State led the Big Ten with about 245 rushing yards per game. Let's go to the SEC. We mentioned Alabama. We're going to have a 4th starting quarterback in the last 4 seasons. But what is Nick Saban looking for in terms of the guy that he's going to have starting behind the center?
That's the right question, because fans tend to watch a spring game, and they'll want to see big plays. Saban values good decisions over big plays. And so part of the problem when you're in a 4-man quarterback competition is that you'll see your opponent throw the ball deep down the field, fit it into coverage. You'll come in for your next snap, and you want to do the same thing, but that might not be the right decision for that play. Right. And Saban wants to see them throw it away. So as you watch this spring game, you'll see some guys making big plays. What you don't want to see is this. This is a play, an interception against Ole Miss. This is Cooper Bateman, one of the guys that's vying for this starting job. And this is another play by Bateman against Ole Miss. It's one of the reasons he got benched in this game, because of not just inaccuracy, but because of poor decisions. And so what you'll want to see in the spring game is if a quarterback throws the ball deep down the field, fits it in, and it's great, you'll think he has an advantage. When the next quarterback comes in, if he throws the ball away on 3rd down, you might think that's not a good play because they're punting, but Nick Saban might look at that as the best decision of all. So that's how to watch this spring game. Decision-making by the quarterbacks, not necessarily big plays.
Jay Coker, 21 touchdowns last season against 8 interceptions, but you got that good defense, a good running game. You don't have to be a superstar at that position for Alabama. Trevor Matich is going to hang out with us all day here on SportsCenter. More on the spring schedule coming up a bit later. Jay?